I'm drafting all number one receivers, so no Devontae and T. Higgins. Who would be all of your number one receivers? Don't take too much time on this one to keep the show moving. No, we gonna keep the show moving regardless, but we got to get to this. I don't know that saying I won't draft a number two receiver is the right way to play fantasy because T. Higgins what did he finish last year? T. Higgins, didn't he finish in the top 10 last year?
T. Higgins on a points per game basis was fucking crazy.
And I think Higgins like also on a points per game basis.
Yeah, and T. Higgins, put some respect on his name because he won a lot of people their fantasy championships as well. You got to forget, like week 17, 12 targets, 11 catches, 131, 3 touchdowns.
Dang.
If you're discounting the number 2 wide receivers on teams, you got to look at the actual offense, right? If that offense can support 2 wide receivers, listen, I could get T. Higgins at a discount. Everybody's going to get, Jamar Chase's price is out of this world. T. Higgins, they have games where it's like Jamar Chase is going to go crazy. Then Jamar Chase still has a good game. T. Higgins goes crazy, right? So don't sleep on that.
I don't mind this philosophy because you typically want the guy who has 12 to 1,500 yard potential. That's typically what you want. But like Pete said, there's offenses that are designed for this. We've seen like Devontae Smith have strong seasons as the number 2. Waddle's had strong seasons as the number 2. Last year, Devontae Adams as the quote unquote number 2 went to the Jets and had a phenomenal second half of the year. Like there's teams that can support 2 receivers. So I think kind of going in with that mentality is you're kind of limiting yourself. I'd almost rather have a strong number 2 in a great offense than the number 1 receiver in a bad offense more often than not. That's not exclusive, but
very true.
But I would almost like for a quarterback that's going to throw 2,500 to 3,000 yards, I'd almost rather have the number 2 in an offense that has 4,000 to 5,000 yard potential. So, yeah, can't draft all number 1 receiver. Like, I don't know. Would you trade? And then last one, you want to do third round or you good off the third round? We can do third round another day.
I mean, we could rock with third round another day.
Let's rock with third another day. Would you trade T. Higgins for Pickens and a 2027 first?
2027?
That's the year. That's the arch year. That's the year everybody's gunning for. Nah, I think Pickens going to Dallas is too steep of a drop off. I don't know. I would do that because the only reason I would say yes to this. The only reason I say yes to this is because the hope with T. Higgins, I think a couple years ago, was that he would go somewhere and be the number 1. We got T. Higgins number 2, and he barely stays healthy enough for an entire season. I would actually. It depends. I probably
you wouldn't do this, dude. You wouldn't do this.
I would ask for more.
You would ask. I mean, of course, you would ask for more. Like Pickens is not going to be somebody who you want entrenched in your starting lineup, whether it's wide receiver 3 or even a flex. He's not. I think 2027 first is just too far out for me. I mean, you want to stack up and try to get those, you try to get the Archie Manning League or Archie Manning draft or whatnot, what have you. But I think you could do a whole lot better.
But let me ask you this though: what's really the difference? And I know this is probably what's really the difference between T. Higgins and George Pickens? They're similar type of players and similar type of offenses. You have elite talent. Deep. Most of the time, it's deep ball. With playing with an elite quarterback, let's not forget Dak is elite when it comes to fantasy. Like yardage-wise, he's going to spread it out there. So you're going to be playing in an elite offense as a secondary receiver. That's more of the jump ball, go get it type of receiver. Plus, you're getting a first.
Offense.
You're saying a bunch of. It's a passing offense. It's going to be the same scenario.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't an elite pass offense. It's the difference. What's the difference between Dallas's offense and Cincinnati's offense? Is that what you're asking?
What's going to be a difference this year?
You got a true elite quarterback. A true elite quarterback. You can't just throw elite out there for anybody. Dak's not an elite passer Dak's not elite. That offense is not elite. That offense was elite.
Offensive when he's healthy.
No, it wasn't on pace for 5,000 yards last year, and he was
because they didn't have George Pickens. But when they had 2 receivers,
Pickens is not the answer. George Pickens is not going to make that offense all of a sudden be a top 5 offense. It's not.
George Pickens is a standalone 1,300-yard receiver on his own. He's a 1,300-yard receiver.
Stop, bro. Stop. He's a 1,300-yard receiver if he gets the volume. He's not getting the volume. He's not a number 1 wide receiver on this team. He's a nutcase. right? He can get himself out of games. He can talk his fucking way out of Dallas by fucking week 6. You know what I mean? Like, listen.
What are they going to do? They're going to run the football? They're not going to run the football. Are they going to run the football? Javonte and Miles Sanders and Jaden Blue? Like, are they going to run the football? No.
Who knows? Look, bro, who knows? They can run the football, but this is where it is, right? The offense in Cincy goes through both of these wide receivers. They got a really good running back who catches the rock too. They have zero defense, so they don't want to pay anybody on defense, whether it's a rookie, whether it's a fucking sack leader. They don't want to pay him because their offense, their whole franchise goes basically through the air game. That's just what it is. So I'm not going to trade that because like what you're trading is T. Higgins is the type of receiver to win you weeks, right? Granted, he may not be consistent. Granted, he can have 8 catches, 80 yards. You know what I mean? And then you could be like, okay, that's a good week. But you have T. Higgins for those blow-up weeks. You have T. Higgins for those 50-yard catches in your bonus leagues. You have T. Higgins for those blow-up 131 3-touchdown games. It's like a 50-50 chance if they're in the red zone that T. Higgins is going to get a touchdown.
That's George Pickens.
And they get into the red zone. That is not George Pickens for the bro.
It's the same. It's the same type of player. You're talking about a guy that can. We're going to clip this up. I'm going to leave this as a standalone episode, actually, because this is, to me, T. Higgins and George Pickens aren't, okay, maybe George Pickens is not T. Higgins. I will give you that.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that.
But when you have a first added in with this, it's not that far off.
2010,
George Pickens is not that far off of T. Higgins. He's not.
Yeah, I think he is. I don't think George Pickens hasn't had the career that T. Higgins had. T.
Higgins hasn't had the career that T. Higgins has had. What has T. Higgins done?
T. Higgins has won just about everybody.
What's his best year? What's T. Higgins' best year? What's the numbers?
It's probably this year. What's your betting? No, okay. Let's talk about points per game. Let's talk about points per game.
No. Right? What's his best season? I didn't ask what's his best points per game. I said what's his best season. T. Higgins' best season is 1,007. 1,007.
What did he do? No, that's not true.
That is his best season on wax. His third year in the 1,042 and 7. That's his best season with 75 catches. That's George Pickens, and you wouldn't trade that. I can't trade because
his best year was last year. His best year. He had almost 1,010 last year.
Almost 1,000, bro. He had 977 yards. He didn't have 1,000 yards.
Cut it out, Jay. Cut it out. And he misses games at.
I don't want to hear it. I wish I did. George Pickens had 900 yards last year in 14 games.
Let's go on the flip side. What's Pickens' best year?
1,105. Playing with fucking Mason Rudolph.
1,105 is ass, bro. If that's his best year and that's playing full season,
T. Higgins has never had 1,100 yards.
T. Higgins didn't have to have 1,100 yards to fucking still have a better season than Pickens.
What I'm saying is that they're not that far off. You're trying to say like T. Higgins is this elite receiver and George Pickens is like
there's a difference.
The offense with Dak is going to be good. He's going to be a 4,500 yard passer when he stays healthy.
The offense with Dak wasn't good last year. With Dak, the offense wasn't good with Dak last year. So what are we talking about? It wasn't.
He got hurt last year.
No, he got hurt and then didn't play the rest of the season. Prior to him getting hurt, it wasn't good.
All they had was
we can say that.
That's all they had was CD. They had no run game, nothing.
It does not matter. All they had 2 years ago was CD, and it was great. You don't, bro. Listen, let me just educate you really quick. You're looking at a total season, saying one person had 1,100 yards, one person had 1,057 yards, so they're not that different. Listen, if you factor in the fact that he missed a few games, and if you actually look at the points per game basis, and you look at the blow up potential of these players, there's a reason why T. Higgins is going in the 4th round, and there's a reason why Pickens is. Where the fuck is Pickens even going?
It's 6th round, right behind him.
Right. Okay. 36 picks out there. He's going right about there. Come on, man. Behind him.
He's right behind him. He's not that far off. Like, I just think, especially in Dynasty, the situations are similar. And the thing is, you're buying kind of low on George Pickens right now because he's the number 2. Because, it's the same thing with T. Higgins, right? When Jamar Chase is out the lineup, T. Higgins becomes a wide receiver. The same thing can happen if CeeDee Lamb comes
That's not the case.
out. George Pickens is going to be going up against number 2 receivers for the first time, or number 2 corners for the first time in his career.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't think this. I don't think this trade is that far off. To me, this is a very good question.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Just flat out. Yes or no? Flat out.
I'd ask for more. I'd ask for more.
Okay, so the answer is no.
Fair, though. I think this is a fair trade. I'd ask for more. If I had to, Higgins, you got to value. Hey, we talk about this all the time: perceived value versus real value. Like I would ask for.
Yeah, that's facts.